Hey boys, come on. Yep. Let's go. Get going. Good evening, everybody. Hello. Hello, John. Jeez, that's enthusiastic. Hello, everybody. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. You're very welcome to the All Rounder Podcast Live, our first ever live endeavour. That rhymes. This little humble podcast of ours started 10 months ago on the 1st of March. And since that time, since we began, we've had over 30 episodes. We have live streamed almost 20 live sporting events, be it soccer, football, hurling and rugby. And we've had a hell of a lot of fun as well, lads, haven't we? And we're here now. The week before Christmas we said we'd raise a little bit of money for charity, sure, why not? So we have 3 big announcements about next year actually before we get started, I suppose. We have an all-rounder mobile application coming very soon, so you'll be able to see your live streams and podcasts all in one area. A new website, and also, what is that, boys? Oh yeah, also we'll be live streaming throughout the Euro 2020 Championships. But no man could operate this operation alone, and so I'm delighted to introduce you to my fellow co-hosts. First of all, we have Aidan Carney, the man who famously once said on commentary, "I'd like a hop cup of pee, please." So, yes, I think that's a round of applause, you know. We also have the angriest man on the podcast, no doubt, Mr. Pat Doyle.
I'm not angry, I'm just misunderstood.
We have Pat Doyle's arch nemesis, Mr. Stephen Davitt, the man who correctly predicted that Liverpool would win the Champions League semi-final, even after they got bet by Barcelona. Frank Devricks, who once famously said on a Michael Jackson podcast, "Michael, would you not leave the young lads alone?" We have Andrew O'Brien, who once famously said that John Delaney might be a bad fella, but in fairness, he had a load of cans out at Euro 2016 with all the lads. Rob Murphy, who still believes that wrestling is real, a bit like me. Fair play to Rob. Conor Nolan, who believes that calling out Coppers bouncers on a podcast will get him back into Coppers.
To this day, he is still barred from Coppers.
Still barred from Coppers. And also we have Mark Ethings, who's just back from Australia today, ladies and gentlemen. The only man that could possibly go on a holiday to Sri Lanka and get caught in a terrorist incident. But it made for a great episode. So, boys, we're just going to have a very, very quick panel discussion before we bring out our first set of guests. Stephen, Liverpool still dominant. Is this finally their year?
I think so. More than likely Liverpool are going to be champions this year. I have a €50 bet with Conor Nolan. that Liverpool are going to win the league, so I'm looking forward to collecting that bit later on. But and I'm looking forward to having a couple more arguments with Pat Doyle about the league results in the future.
I'm still waiting for the collapse to happen.
I have a couple of done 50s as well.
Frank and Pat would be our two resident Spurs fans.
Don't forget Rob Murphy in that one.
Actually, Rob Murphy, sorry, that is true. What are our thoughts on Mourinho taking over at Spurs? Going well so far, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, I was a bit heartbroken though, and I'm still not really over it. As I said to my brother, I'd imagine when Pochettino left it'd be something similar to when Ellen breaks up with me. That's how I'll feel. But no, it's going okay so far, but still a long way off.
Long way off. Kearney, United are on the up. That sounds, well, for now, like this week.
It might be on the up, alright, John, for the last 3 weeks, but they can fall very far, as you know. But I think Ole is doing the right thing. I think he has some great young players there, and hopefully he can build a great squad there for years to come.
Please God.
So Everton for the win tomorrow, lads. Everton for the win tomorrow.
What is it? Gandhi always says, never back the early kickoff. Andrew, John Delaney. That's all I have to say.
Well,
no question.
The ill-advised board are ready to step away, so hopefully the soccer will do the talk and win the next couple of months, and we'll get through to the Euros. We'll all be happy.
Right, so we are very dependent on that spot in the Euros, financially as well as morally. I suppose we need that spot, don't we?
Yeah, Mick McCarthy's had a good run. People talk him down a little bit, but he's got the results. Soccer is not as sexy as you'd like, but we're
1-0 against Gibraltar is not a result.
It's 3 points on the board. What can we do? What do we want at the start? 3 points on the board.
True. And what did you think of obviously the revelation of the FAI accounts just last week? It was revealed that Martin O'Neill, Roy Keane and their management team got a €1.9 million payoff. Do you think that was good value for money?
Yeah, well, I don't know. They're due their money anyway, so it's not their fault they were getting so much money. It's the FAI's from the start. 55 million in debt just says it all, you know.
Yeah, fair point. Okie doke. I think it's time that we brought out our first set of guests, ladies and gentlemen. What do you think?
John.
Yeah.
I'd say. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, would you please give us a bit of quiet there, please, so we can welcome our first guest on, if that's possible.
Bit of wish there, lads. Bit of wish. Yeah.
Thank you.
Our first three guests, I'm glad to say, are friends of each of us. They're gentlemen, and they, along with their fellow teammates, captured the imagination of the county, but certainly they captured the imagination of our modest little village of Ferns. They joined a very elite band of people from this village who have gone on to win the Bob O Keefe Cup, the Leinster Championship. And for that, we couldn't be any prouder. Would you join me, please, in welcoming, please, Mr. Paul Morris, Mr. Ian Byrne, and Mr. Gavin Bailey. Okie doke, lads, you're all very welcome. If we could just have a little bit of quiet, please, just while we're interviewing the lads, just so they can hear what we're asking them. By the way, just while we're waiting there, while Stephen is setting up his microphones, hello to everybody watching online on the All Rounder Podcast Facebook page and on our YouTube account. So, you're all very welcome, lads. Thanks very much for joining us tonight in aid of the Irish Heart Foundation. It's a very obvious place to start. We will be touching upon your earlier careers and whatever, but if we could just go on to very recent times. You've just won the Leinster Championship, 6 months ago. And how great does it feel to be a Leinster champion?
First of all, thanks for having us, I suppose. The three of us are pretty honoured to be asked to come in front of our friends and family to talk about it. I suppose winning something that hadn't been won for so long it's a great achievement, and it's something that as a chap growing up you would really aspire to. You never really know how it's going to feel until it actually happens, and that moment when the whistle was blown, it was fantastic to be a part of, not just for us but for the whole county. And I think it was great to see that everyone really did buy in behind it, and the support we got was fantastic, and I'm sure the boys will back me up on that as well.
Why don't we actually remind ourselves of that brilliant moment when Wexford won the Leinster Championship? David, do you want to roll clip one there, please, whenever you get a chance?
Thatch would have been proud of that from his goalkeeping days. Wexford 121, Kilkenny 22 points. We've 6 minutes left. Is the Bob O Keefe Cup going to Wexford for the first time in 15 years? Davy Fitz, in the third year of his management, is seconds away from leading Wexford to the Leinster title, and there it is. It's all over. Do you know what? They'll be dancing at the crossroads tonight. Leinster champions for 2019. Wexford. Leinster champions for the 24th time. 123 to 23 points. But these are fabulous scenes.
I think just to reiterate what Ian said, it was surreal when the final whistle blew, and in the dressing room after that no one saw, just the singing. But it was probably the main, when it sunk in, was when we got back to Gorey and Ferns, and when the trees was top of the bus in Ferns. Like, the feeling was just unbelievable.
Yeah, there was serious scenes all right down at the bottom of the town. I'll never forget it. Unbelievable scenes.
Before the game, that was throw in and all. I had heard rumour that Joe Cullen does like to sing a song for you before you go out. What did he sing that day that really got you going?
Go ahead. Well, I suppose we came up with a little tradition this year with the Wexford team that we've never had before, and it is, and it sounds mad, is to sing a song before every game. So before all the championship games this year, we did sing the Purple and Gold, and if you really actually look into the song and read about the words of it, there's a lot of meaning behind it, and there's a lot of history, and there's a lot of passion in Wexford, and especially Wexford Hurling. Like, you've only to go back into the history books, and it's one of the things we've done, and I think it's helped us as a team, is we did look into the history, and we did look into the past of even battles on Vinegar Hill going back that far, and the fighting blood that's actually in Wexford people. And it's one of the things that Davy has worked a lot on over the last 3 years, is kind of reminding us of what the people before us have done and what it should mean and what it does mean to pull on a Wexford jersey. And I think Purple and Gold as a song captures that perfectly, and it's a nice touch before you go out in a game, just to give you a little reminder of who you're playing for. So yeah, it was brilliant.
So guys, like, we saw the clip there, and Paul, you mentioned how about singing the song The Purple and Gold, and Davy bringing back what it means to play for Wexford. Like, we could see throughout this year's campaign how much of a rapport and a relationship ye had with Davy, and it's not often the case that teams have that with their manager. Like, you could even see it there, Davy running out onto the pitch to celebrate with his players. When he made his decision to stay on for 2 more years, what was the feeling among the players? What were your thoughts?
Sure, obviously after Davy bringing the success with Leinster, we loved it. There was touch and go for a while. No one really knew what was happening. There was rumours about Galway, but to be honest, the players never believed that he was going to Galway. It was up to Davy's decision in the background, travelling up and down from Clare every evening. But fully backing Davy again for a second year. He's seen something in the team that can bring in All-Ireland and bring Leinster back again. So everyone's behind Davy again.
There's been a number of, obviously you've all given unbelievable performances in the jersey. Just in our bit of research or whatever, one such performance, and Dave, if you want to get clip 2 right there ready, one such performance was yourself, Paul, your performance versus
it into the centre, breaks kindly for David Redmond. Once more they're looking for the man in space, it's Paul Morris, it's all opened up. Brilliant goal for Paul Morris. The Wexford crowd come alive, goal for Morris.
Yeah, great ball in and a great take by Paul Morris. He has Conor McDonald inside but doesn't need him and buries it in past Stephen O'Keefe. No chance, right up into the corner. And that's a goal based on the play that Wexford have had so far and the way they've used the ball. You know, they deserve to be in front and they've been very impressive in the first 10-11 minutes.
Paul Morris thinking about the pass, shoots the point and the sides are level again. What a game.
This is fantastic.
Space and time for Paul Morris. It's been in very short supply and Morris makes it count.
Yeah, Morris is proven to be a real weapon for Wexford here now. He's got a couple of points from play and frees.
I see the Morris shuffle, as I call it there, you know. You done it to me many times up in the field throughout the years. I was actually delighted to see it and I was also terrified at the same time. How has your role changed in the Wexford panel now since you started out? You made your debut when you were only a chap really, but now I suppose you are one of the senior players in the panel. And how has your role changed in that?
Well, I suppose when I started out playing, I was 19 and obviously very young. And it's like anyone, you serve your trade and serve your time at that age. And you know, it's not until I suppose the last 3 or 4 years that you become one of the more senior members of the team. And you know, I'm probably the third player that's there the longest at the moment. You know, so the years don't be long slipping by. And you know, if I can pass on a word of advice to some of the younger lads now, we've a lot of new lads in the panel. We've maybe 10 guys under the age of 21. So if you can pass on any of the experiences and learning curves that I've done, well, you know, I'm happy to do that, as you know, because I have been there, I suppose, quite a long time now.
I think we just have another clip there of the All-Ireland semi-final and one of the highlights of the games there during it there.
Doing his stuff. Here's D. O'Keefe. Paul Morris into the corner. He just about keeps it in play. Lovely stick work from Paul Morris. Now Conor McDonald is waiting inside. Morris may take it on himself. Morris just got under that, but it's a lovely finish from Paul Morris. Beautiful ball forward by D. O'Keefe. Foley started it. 1:16 each.
Well, look at his little flick here. Look at his confidence. This man is full of skill. Great ball, but
I don't know really, the biggest thing was to keep the ball in, and you know, Cathal Barrett just jumped in on me, so it was either stand there and end up, I suppose, out for a burger in the Cusick stand or flick the ball, and luckily enough I suppose it went through his legs, but it wasn't something at the time I was thinking, geez, I'll flick the ball through his legs here and go around and put it over the bar. It was stopping getting walloped in the face was the initial reaction anyway. And look, thankfully it was a nice score and it worked out well.
Yeah, and it was I think it was shared by our arch rivals Joda.ie, wasn't it, lads? Well, not quite arch rivals, we haven't made that level yet, but it got a serious media coverage, didn't it? Really did.
I don't like Joda.ie, I'm just putting out there.
I used to practice that on Carney when I was a young lad in the hurling field. It was a little bit easier to flick the ball through his legs though.
I wish I had a comeback, but that's actually true.
We need a fire extinguisher here, please, for that Byrne. Thanks very much.
I might just ask this question for Ian there, if you pass it over. Obviously, the result didn't go the way we wanted, and being in the stand that day, I was heartbroken. I can only imagine what you were feeling at that. Do you find it hard to bring it back to club level then after that, and getting ready for championship again 2 weeks after, where that's what the club level are gearing up for? But you obviously must have been on a downer after it. How did you cope with the loss? And how did you get ready again for your club championship?
Yeah, I suppose the loss itself was hard to take because of the way it went. We fully believed that we were going to get to an All-Ireland final.
That's it. Splits the post.
Brilliant. Lovely play. Lovely play.
Ian takes the score. That's a brilliant score from Ferns.
Absolutely. That's the best score of the game.
That's another good point there.
That's
so it is.
Great score.
Straight. Where are we going?
That's a great score.
That's
Great
a super score there. Of course, that gives Ferns the lead now. Set yourself, straight to the ball. Splits the post as well. Ian now with the 65. Sends over again.
You want and to actually set new goals and set new standards for what's to come.
And actually, on the versus St. Martin's in the championship this year, you had a stellar performance. You scored, I think, all but 4 of the points, and we're going to have a quick look at this now. I do apologise for the length of this. It's about 90 seconds, so it's a point-taking masterclass. Have a look.
That's it. Splits the post.
Brilliant. Lovely play. Lovely play.
Ian takes the score. That's a brilliant score from Ferns.
Absolutely. That's the best score of the game.
That's another good point there.
That's
so it is.
Great score.
Straight. Where are we going?
That's a great score.
That's
Great
a super score there. Of course, that gives Ferns the lead now. Set yourself, straight to the ball. Splits the post as well. Ian now with the 65. Sends over again. Ian here now, straight to the ball.
That's bread and butter.
Handy money, so it is. Ian now sets himself. Strikes the ball. That's a super score, so it is. That's a super score. There's a gap. Oh, blocked down. Holds onto the ball around the head. No, play it on. Sends up. Strike the ball. And we're over the bar again, so we are. It's another great score there. Puck up by Lauder. Sent up long again. Getting great distance in them puck outs. Oh, chance. Ian sends it over the bar.
Seems to be working for him to have Morris up there. You know, he's a serious threat up there, so.
Ian's
easy for Ian, yeah.
Pops it over. Ian strikes the ball. And over the bar. Over the bar.
You were a scoring machine that day, Ian.
Yeah, sure. I suppose you get days like that. I suppose I was lucky this year. I was given the opportunity to take the frees, and I suppose you can see a lot of them are from them, and generally it's someone else doing the dirty work and I just bend over and hope for the best. Yeah, look, this year, not just that game, but every game from basically the first round of the championship, we really kind of try to progress as a team, and that's what we're hoping to do again next year. And you know, it's hard to do and it's hard to keep doing every year, but we've a good mix of lads there between the kind of older and kind of more experienced lads, and I know our younger lads coming through have a year or two under their belts now as well. And you know, you'll have people saying that, you know, a team is too old, it's too this, and then you'll have people saying it's too young, it's too whatever. But I reckon there's a good mix there at the minute, and it's a good time to be involved in the Ferns Senior Hurling team, I think, and hopefully next year will be another big year and we can take that final step, please God.
Just Gavin there, you were brought into the Wexford senior team there last year. I see Davies brought in Conor Scallon and James Lawler into the squad this year. How do you think the boys are going to fit in? And just on your fitting in last year, was it hard to get into the mix of things, or?
Well, yeah, initially at the start it's a huge step up, and I think last year I was actually only called up the night before we started training, so I was in for a rough few weeks ahead. The lads got a bit of with all in advance this year, so they done a good bit of running, but you can't fault the lads on fitness and commitment this year. They're putting everything in, and you can definitely see a bright future for James and Connor. We can all see them in club how good the two of them are. So they'll definitely fit in well, and they are fitting in well. They're well up at the top of all the running. There's very little hurling done at the minute, so can't really compare on that yet.
Just one for all three is just for all three is just who's the best trainer I've ever been under, either Wexford or which are Ferns.
Well, sure, it's easier for me to say, but Davy Fitz is definitely his training this year, and Darren Seegans did the running last year, and there's so much in the backroom team. It's not just Davy, there's too many to name to take training and take different drills, but definitely the setup, it's eye-opening. I couldn't believe it when I went in, the intensity of all the drills. But it's easy for Davy to have the drills there. It has to be all player driven, so the players have to put in the intensity, and I think that's what Davy's brought in this last year and this year. It has to come from the players.
Yeah, I suppose, I know it might sound like the easy option is to say that Davy Fitzgerald is the best manager or the best coach you ever had, but like after working on him for 3 years, I can say I've never come across anyone that thinks of the game the way he thinks about it, in terms of tactics, in terms of your mindset and your approach to wanting to play. You know, he's had a big influence on my career, and he's definitely, I feel, made me a lot better a player over the last 3 years. You know, and the big thing about Davy is he always reminds you you're very lucky for what you're doing. There's a lot of people that are not in the position, whether they don't have the talent, whether it's sickness, whether it's health, that they're not able to go out and they're not able to play for Ferns, or you're not able to represent your county. So he reminds you you're in a very privileged position, and there's only an elite group of players that can do it. You know, and that's one of the biggest things, you know, as a manager that I've been able to take from him the last couple of years, is there's so many people out there that are less fortunate, that are sickness and have different things going on in their life that they can't do it. And you've only to look back at last year's summer and you can see the difference that hurling has made to people. Some people say it's only sport, but is it really only sport when you go to Crow Park, there's 65,000 people there, and you see the impact it has on people's lives? You know, I think it is. It's a really big thing, and you can influence so many other people and give so many people hope through sport. You know, and that's, for me, probably the biggest thing that I've taken from Davy, other than obviously being an excellent coach and tactically wise.
Yes, I suppose the same would be. Yeah, no, I suppose, like, just to reiterate the boys, I've been lucky to be under some great managers over the years, and you know, David be right up there. He's top class in terms of the way he has it set up and the way he organises things. But I suppose for me, I was lucky to be in IT Carlow at the time when things were kind of really progressing through sport, and I was lucky enough to be managed by DJ Kerry for 3 years up there, and he is under the same bracket as Davy is at the minute. His man management and stuff you can see that the two of them are hurling around the same time. They have the same kind of way around it and the way of meaning with dealing with players. So the two of them would definitely be, you know, up there with the best I've had in my career so far anyway.
Right, lads, we're just going to finish up there now with one more question for you. I just want one name from your county panel and one name from Ferns, alright? Can you tell me who the best trainer in the club or county is at the minute?
I think it's Rory Scallon over there in the corner is the best trainer this year. Ferns.
And the worst?
Scallon, give him the €50 note now, please. Please give him the €50 now.
No need for an envelope.
So, Paul, who's the worst in the county for training?
I swear, this is not going out live. No one will ever see this.
No one will see it. No one will see it. Oh, YouTube.
No, I'll say first anyway, for Ferns anyway, it's an easy one because I'm playing with him since I'm 16. And every year this lad gets a flu around February or March, and he's the greatest man to miss 4 weeks training, and that's Bitsy O'Connor. And I'd say from a Ferns perspective, and he's up my eyes up to the way he's been training this year, and it's James Lawler. He's in with the county team now, and he's putting in a phenomenal effort for a chap that he's only in learning his trade. He's in his first year with Wexford, and he's up there in the top 5 in terms of fitness already. So I think it's a massive testament to the work he's done on his own to be in that bracket.
And right, I'm going to ask this one to Ian here because I think Paul might feature in it. Tell me, who was Davy's pet last year? Who was his favourite?
Nosh, look, it's no secret that Davy has a serious bond with most of the players on his team, with nearly all of the players on his team. He has time for everyone.
Get off the fence, Ian. Give us a name.
No safety here, Ian. No safety.
There's no safety or nothing, no. But honestly, he does. But you know, he's great time for everyone. But I suppose there would be 3 or 4 players there that would be, you know, very friendly with Davy, and you know, no names need to be said. But you know, but he is that sort of a fella. He's not just a manager. He does build friendships with the players, and that's the way he wants it done, rather than, you know, leaking arse is what you say. But
we don't need a full name, just initials.
I'm giving you a background. That's all I'm giving you.
And tell us then, for Ferns, all right, you've been out on a few sessions with him, and there's a few sessions happening tonight too. But who was the worst dancer in the club in Ferns?
There's only one winner there, and that's Rory Scallon. I actually have a video on my phone. I'll send it to you, and you can put it up.
Yeah, we'll put it out on the stream.
Of his dancing. It's definitely a sight to behold, and something everyone would enjoy to see around Christmas time, I think, actually.
And who's the best eater, Paul?
There's only one man to scoff a bag of chips after a night out outside of Benedict's, and that's Eddie Walsh. He'll eat him out of the palm of his hand, and he'll leave no fingers and all if he was allowed.
And last one then for you lads. Who was the longest in the shower? Gavin, this is for you. Who was the longest in the shower?
We'd say a Podge Walsh.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, when we said we were holding this night, the first 3 names on our guest list were most certainly these 3 gentlemen, and the minute we made the call or whatever to invite them along, they were all available immediately, and we couldn't be more thankful to them for it. So please put your hands together for Paul Morris, Gavin Bailey and Ian Byrne.
Father and son, they stood hand in hand as they watched Wexford play.
So we're going to take a 5-minute break. It will only be about 5 minutes, and in that period, please do take the opportunity to buy some of our raffle tickets. We have some fantastic prizes. So we'll be back in 5 minutes.
1, 2. Sorry, folks, if you could have a bit of hush. The next guest is about to come on stage. So everyone at the bar, folks, a bit of hush. We just want to quieten down a bit, folks. We're going to have a bit of quiet here. The next guest is about to come on stage, and we're about to go live. So a bit of hush, please, with respect for the next guest.
Stephen's an angry little man, so don't cross him, lads.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, our next guest is one of the finest professional footballers that was ever produced in County Wexford. In an illustrious youth and senior career, he played with clubs such as Cherry Orchard, Everton, Yeovil Town, Bray Wanderers, Shelbourne, St Pat's, Waterford, but perhaps most notably he's known for his time spent playing in Scotland with Aberdeen and more latterly Dunfermline Athletic. It was the latter of those two clubs that our guest perhaps spent his most successful period professionally, and he set the footballing world alight with a wonder goal in his debut versus none other than Celtic, right in their own backyard. Let's have a quick little look. Tip number 5, Dave. Yeah.
Scarlett switching to the right side of a back three. Nicholson off step forward. It's a chance here for Dunfermline. It's a goal! Gary Dempsey, who has just come on, has pulled one back for Dunfermline. Nicholson with the ball forward. Dempsey saw Douglas off his line.
Gary, you're very welcome. Thank you so much for coming down tonight for helping us with the cause and what I presume is your son, is it?
I'm on daddy duty as well tonight.
Very good. You're very welcome.
Jack never misses a game for Northend, so we're playing in the morning. We're going straight down to Wexford. So.
Excellent.
He's tagging along.
Well, thanks for coming, Jack. So there you go. If you wouldn't mind, take us right back to the beginning, Gary. You spent 4 years playing youth football for Cherry Orchard before you made a switch to Everton, and you that was in 1997. You were only about 16 or 17 years of age, and that must have been huge for you, like as a young lad.
Yeah. At the time when I was playing with Northend, there was no scouts really down around Wexford, so I had to go play in Dublin. So travelled up and down to Dublin for 2 years. It was from 14 when I was 14, 15, 16. And then signed a 4-year contract with Everton and went over on my 16th birthday in January to live in Liverpool. So I was well used to it. I was ready for it. It was something. Anyone that knows me, that's all I ever wanted to do was to be a professional footballer. So it didn't faze me, if you know what I mean. It was something that I was really looking forward to. Went over at 16 into the dig, settled down. Yeah, just got stuck into it. It was great.
Excellent. And I mean, that moment there, the clip we just watched, scoring in front of, was it 66,000 fans in Celtic Park? I mean, what a moment.
Yeah. We were losing 2-0 with 20 minutes to go, and manager just said, look, just go on and be a nuisance, see if you can get us a goal, and manage to score. With my second touch, I was involved in the build-up before that, and then managed to score with my second touch. It was unbelievable. 20 years of age, 65,000. I think there was about 60 Dunfermline fans there, so it wasn't quite the same. But it was a huge moment and really set me up for the career that I had in Scotland, to be honest with you.
And of course, it wouldn't have been the only time he scored against Celtic because, David, if you wouldn't mind rolling clip 6 there.
Oh, Jesus.
Mason. Alan Young. Dempsey. Gary Dempsey scores! Dunfermline ahead again. 13 minutes into the second half. Well, he scored here on his debut for Dunfermline with just about his first touch, nearly 2 years.
I think I'd done it the week before when I scored against somebody, and it was the Irish jig. So every time I scored, I had to bloody do it. I was raging. I started it, to be honest. But that was a nice goal as well at Parkhead. The second one that I managed to get, which we actually beat them. That was the week. That was 2 weeks before we played them in the Scottish Cup final.
Did they win the league that day? Did they?
They won the league. They got presented with the trophy that day, and we were playing them 2 weeks after that in the Scottish Cup final.
And we beat them 2-1 at Parkhead that day, so that was a nice win for us there, you know.
Just bringing you back to your Everton days, like you played with players like Francis Jeffers, Leon Osman, Richard Dunn. Like, how did that set you up for your later life?
Yeah, I have to say the 4 years at Everton really set me up for the career that I had to go on to have. Playing with training and playing with those players like Big Dunny. Like Big Dunny's a great friend of mine, still is. He's living in Monaco now. Francis Jeffers, Leon Osmond, Tony Hibbert, Danny Cadamatri, I don't know if you remember him.
Yeah.
So we had a serious team. We won the Youth Cup that year as well with Everton. So the 4 years I had there was fantastic. Really, really good time.
Set you up for your professional life. So I'm going to have to bring you to your Dunfermline days now. And you once said you would rather be on the dole than play for Dunfermline. Can you elaborate on that a bit, please?
No, it wasn't as blunt as that. It was sort of along those lines, but it wasn't as blunt as that. What had happened was the manager that signed me at Dunfermline, Jimmy Calderwood, left Dunfermline to go to Aberdeen, and the new guys that came in was David Hay and Billy Kirkwood. Now, Billy, I don't know if many of you would know Billy Kirkwood. Billy Kirkwood was a big Rangers man, and he didn't take too kindly to the Irish guys. So me and him didn't see eye to eye, even though David Hay was a big Celtic man. And I just sort of went in and said, I missed the opportunity to go when the transfer window was open. So the transfer window was closed. So I literally had to walk out. I had to go in and say, look, I want to leave. And I went to Aberdeen. Obviously, I knew I had a 2-year contract in the pipeline there. I'd had organised that before I left. But I had to go and play 4 months at Aberdeen for free, basically. And I think the comment that I made was, I'd rather play for free than play for Dunfermline at the moment. But look, as I'm sure you guys are aware, the press take it and twist it, and
Absolutely.
I actually got annihilated for that comment. But look, it is what it is.
And you went on to play for Aberdeen after Dunfermline, which you would have spent about 3 years at Aberdeen, was it?
Yeah, so I done 2 seasons. I done 3 years at Dunfermline and then 2.5 years at Aberdeen. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So Aberdeen was brilliant, really, really good. I left Aberdeen. It's probably the only regret I have is that I probably shouldn't have left Aberdeen. Fantastic city, massive football club. But at that stage, I was heading into my 6th year in the SPL. And with it being 10, 12 teams, you sort of play everybody 4 times. And then if you meet them in the cup, it's 5 times. If you meet them in the other cup, it's 6 times. So it can be a little bit monotonous. Not boring, but a little bit like you don't mind playing Celtic 6 times or Rangers 6 times. But if you're playing against the likes of Dundee and Dundee United, it can be a bit. And I fancied the crack at England as well. So and that's why I ended up moving down south.
When we were doing the research, there was a bit of a story that came up. Did you have a laundry bill that cost £127? And would you like to explain how a laundry bill came to £127? And were you on your own in this, or was there another recognisable name in the mix of this one as well?
Yeah, this is a horrendous story. So basically,
we love horrendous stories.
No, it's a great story, but it's horrendous. So Noel Hunt, my best friend, signed for us. Hunty played with me at Waterford, and when I went to Dunfermline, I had said to the manager, look, there's a 19-year-old at Waterford. He's better than the 19-year-olds that you have here. You should go and get him. So of course we went and signed him, and Hunty moved in with me into my apartment, which was a big fucking mistake from the start. I should have left him nowhere near the place. But anyway, in the apartment we had a washing machine and a dryer, right? But it was 2-in-1, so like we just couldn't. We were trying to wash our clothes, we were drying them. We hadn't a breeze. We really hadn't a breeze. So I said to him, look, just throw everything into a black bag. Let's go and find laundry, and we'll just leave it in. Come back in a couple of days. Bob's your uncle. So we went into this place with 2 black bags. I said to Hunty, go in, leave them in, and ask the lady when can we collect them. So the lady took it all, no problem. So she says, come back in a couple of days' time, that'll all be ready for you. So I pulled up, I said to Hunty, go in and sort that out. I think I gave him like 20 quid. Go in and collect the laundry. And I just knew by his face when he was walking back out to the car that something had gone fucking seriously wrong. And he says to me, the bill's £127, this was. And I says, how? Like, it can't fucking possibly be 127 pound. And then it was at that stage we realised it was a laundrette and not a dry cleaner, and not a laundrette. So we got all our fucking Bart Simpson boxer shorts dry cleaned. Hunty said when he went in to collect our gear, you know the suit rail that go around with all the suits? Fucking his Nike tracksuit came around, the Dunfermline tracksuit. So when we actually got the bill, I'm not joking you, it was £6 sterling per pair of socks. It cost us. And we had to pay it. Or else it was like, leave the clothes there. And Hunty said, my clothes are not worth £127. He says, I have no issue leaving, just drive away. They're not worth that amount of money. So we said, look, come on, we may just go in and pay the fucking bill. We won't be back. Tell the woman thanks very much, but see you later.
Did the socks feel any better after the dry clean?
No, they didn't. They weren't fucking clean, they were just dry cleaned. They weren't washed. She didn't wash them. What did they do? They steam them or something? I don't know.
Dried in muck.
Yeah, it was cat. Absolutely cat.
Just to bring you back there, you signed for Yeovil in 2008. I was just looking at the stats. It just looked like you didn't have a great time there. Was that because of the manager or the club, or just was it injuries? Or
I went down to Yeovil. I went to Yeovil and Doncaster in between time at Aberdeen, and it was a choice between the two, and I picked Yeovil. I don't regret picking it. Manager wasn't as good as the two Jimmies that I worked with in Scotland, but I broke my foot in pre-season, so I was on the back foot straight away. I was in cast for 8 weeks. Came out of cast and actually got back in the team, scored some goals. Was going okay actually. This little fella had just been born in the December, and Brian Kerr rang me. Brian Kerr was director of football at Pats at the time, and just offered me a really stupid contract that I couldn't turn down. Louise had been with me since, I think Louise came over, and she'd been with me for 7-8 years, and literally followed me around wherever we went. And I sort of said to her, look, this is a good opportunity to move home, get set up, yada yada yada. And we moved home. But like I said, in hindsight, I probably should have stayed at Aberdeen. We finished third in the SPL that year. Celtic won the league, Rangers were second, and we finished third, and we qualified for Europe. And they went on to win a couple of ties, so I missed out on some games against like Atletico Madrid and stuff like that. But yeah, six months I lasted at Yeovil, but partially down to injury.
Yeah, no, I was thinking that, Gary. I give you the benefit of the doubt there.
It was nothing to do with form.
Yeah, no, I give you the benefit of the doubt.
I've been injured for the last 20 years. That's my problem with soccer.
Yeah. Okay.
No, you must have looked at our questions, Gary, because that's what I was going to go on to next. Was Pats.
Yes.
You played with the likes of Keith Fahey. That was a great Pats team at that time, really.
Yeah, we do. We had a fabulous team at Pats at the time. Obviously, myself and Keith played in the middle of the park. We had all the sort of League of Ireland big hitters because Pats they were paying stupid money at the time, so they were just literally going and taking all the best players off all the other teams. And then a few of us had come back from England as well. We had an unbelievable run in Europe, playing Hertha Berlin. Going out and beating, I can't even remember the team in Sweden.
There was a Finland side, I believe. There might have been a side from Finland, I think, in the UEFA Cup.
Finland in the earlier round, yeah. And then Elfsborg was actually from Sweden. We went out there and drew 2 each, and then beat them in Inchicore. And then going and playing the Olympic Stadium in Berlin against Hertha Berlin was amazing. But unfortunately, we never won anything. We came second in the league. We were beaten in the cup semi-final. So wasn't a great time at Pat. I loved it. I was probably in the form of my life there at Pats. Played some really good football, but just disappointed not to win a trophy, to be honest.
Obviously, you talk about two Jimmies a lot, like Jimmy Calder, is that right? And he had a big, and Jimmy Nicholl. And he had a big influence on your career, obviously. What set him apart from the other managers you played under?
Jimmy Calderwood spent a lot of time in Holland. So he was way ahead of the guys in Scotland and England in terms of the training. So when I went from Everton, obviously the training at Everton was fantastic. It's a Premier League club. You've got top of the range coaches. The time when I came back between Everton and going to Dunfermline, I was at Bray Wanderers and Waterford. and then went back there with the two Jimmies. And sort of once I got a taste for that sort of continental training, I didn't, and that's what the big problem was when Billy Kirkwood and Davy Hay came in. The training just like, they were like, honestly, they were cowboys, the two of them, and the training just was crap. We weren't doing well on the pitch, and it just wasn't nice, and I'm sort of stubborn when I get something in my head, right, I don't like it here, I want to go, and even though I was walking out on a 2 or 3 year contract at the time, I just didn't want to stay there.
So now that we're on managers, obviously, Steve Staunton brought you to Darlington in 2010.
Yes.
Obviously, he was manager of Ireland senior team, and it was an absolute train wreck. A great soccer player, but can you tell me a bit about Steve Staunton?
Yeah.
He was your gaffer?
Yeah,
He was the boss. Don't hold back.
Stan was great. Do you know why Stan was great? Stan had a horrible team at Darlington.
Yeah.
We had a team full of big time Charlies, lads that didn't give a shit, didn't try a leg in training, and he signed myself, Tyke Purcell, Richie Byrne, and another. He signed 4 of us, and he basically got the 4 of us in his office, and he says, do whatever you want, I'm going to back you no matter what. So he basically gave us free run of the place in terms of trying to give people a kick up the arse, because like, we were used to winning. We were 4 players that still had something to prove, sort of, and we were wanting to do well, obviously, because he had just signed us. So we caused murder. We just.
That same year they got deducted 10 points or something as well for going to liquidation. Was that year,
Yeah.
was it?
Yeah,
So that
yeah.
did, and obviously
Killed us. He didn't stand a chance with the team he had. The lads, honestly, the lads were fuckers. They were a disaster. They didn't give a shit. Like,
they were just bad, or they were just didn't
no,
know
they were
about
actually. That was the worst thing about it. There was actually some good players there, but they just didn't try a leg. They didn't like him, you see. And when he got sacked, Simon Davey came in, the Welsh manager, and he was all right. But they seemed to get on better with him.
Yeah. That was around the time Notts County had all the big money as well, wasn't it?
Yeah,
They
I
were
think so.
popping that
Yeah,
division.
yeah.
Signed Sol Campbell, I think.
Sol
wasn't
Campbell,
it? Sol
Sven
Campbell.
Garner.
That's right. Yeah, big soul.
And so you spent the conclusion of your career, then your professional playing career, in Ireland.
Yes.
You were with St. Pat's twice, as I think you said, or was it once maybe? You were with Shelburne. You were with Waterford for a spell. What would you consider the pinnacle of your success in all those years when you were playing in League of Ireland towards the conclusion of your career?
In League of Ireland?
Yeah.
I think I've done well everywhere I went. Like, I was a household name in Ireland. So when I had 2 years at Pats, obviously the betting thing at Pats was a disaster. I don't know if that's on the fucking list of questions. I've no problem talking about it.
Tell us about it if you want.
No, it's not. No.
Great. But that wasn't my fault either. That wasn't my fault either.
But you can elaborate if you want to.
No, you're grand. If it's not on the list, forget it. So went from Pats to Bray. Obviously, I have a big, really good relationship with Pat Devlin. So went to Bray, played a couple of seasons at Bray. Went down to Waterford. I've got a sort of affiliation with them. Obviously, I was with them before I went to Scotland. Then up to Shelburne. Johnny Mack, my old Pats manager, asked me to come in and give him a dig out at Shelburne. So yeah, like, I've done well everywhere I went, and I felt that at that level I could play into my 30s, sort of in the league, especially in the position that I was starting to play in the 6, where I was sort of sitting in front of the back 4 and stuff. It was handy, really, you know.
I've just seen.
Sorry, Karen.
Sorry.
Okay.
No, I've just seen on your social media and things. You're a massive driver for mental health.
Yes.
I just want to ask you, like, what steps do you take in doing your work? And
my whole social media over the last 3 or 4 weeks has been about men. We're losing way too many men, to young men especially, to suicide. And obviously our chairman down in North End a couple of weeks ago took his own life, and it was at the graveyard when I shot the first video. Which like got something like 150,000 hits, and it was Shane's daughter in the church was literally standing here, and the coffin was there, and it was like she was giving out to him, saying, "Why did you suffer in silence? Why didn't you ask for help? Why didn't you say something?" And it just really hit home that the platform that we have that I have and sort of players and ex-players have on social media, to get the word out that it is okay to ask for help, and there is hope, and you don't have to suffer alone. And just that, the devastation that Shane left behind, although whatever he was going through must have been terrible, to get to the point where he thought there was no way out and the best option was to take his own life. The devastation that he left, that was left behind at that funeral, just really hit home. And I'm a firm believer in things happen to you for a reason. I was meant to shoot that video at the grave. I actually went to my mum's grave after the funeral, and I actually don't really remember shooting the video. Like it sort of just happened. And yeah, it was all about getting the message out. I've been invited over to Scotland now to go into some clubs and schools and stuff to speak to kids. But the amount of people that have been in touch, that have reached out, former teammates of mine, people that I don't even know, just messaging and saying, look, I'm in a bad place here, I'm really, really struggling. And I think the message is what I said in the video. If you think one of your friends is in a bad place, pick up the phone, send a text, knock the door, ask them are they okay, and don't just settle for I am grand, because how many times do people ask you, how are you getting on? Yeah, I'm grand. But really ask them, are you alright? Because you literally could save somebody's life just by sending that text and having that chat,
Well, I think that deserves a round of applause, absolutely. And for anyone in the audience, you were on BBC Radio Scotland last night, or I think it was 2 nights ago, and I heard your interview. It's been retweeted by a lot of football stars like John Hartson and others, and it's a fantastic interview, so fair play to you. It's great stuff that you're doing, and obviously you mentioned Shane here yesterday, Greve Anham, and he was a great football man, and our thoughts are obviously with his family at this moment. Well, look, on the brighter side, thank you so much for coming on tonight and for being such a fantastic guest and for being a great sport and coming all the way down here, and I hope North End do the business tomorrow, and I think he deserves a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Gary Dempsey.
Thanks.
Actually, I have one little question there for Jack, is it? Yeah, Jack? Jack, it's your time to shine. Would you like to be a pro footballer like your daddy?
Yes, I would like to be.
Are you playing at the moment?
Yeah, I'm playing for Cabinteely.
Brilliant. I wish you every bit best of luck, okay? Alright?
And are you better than your daddy?
Yeah.
Fight and talk, I like it.
We'll look out for you in a green jersey in a couple of years, so.
Okay,
thanks very much, lads.
ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause, Mr. Gary Dempsey.
Thanks, guys.
to try and keep it as quiet as we possibly can, please, and give our final guest the respect that he most definitely deserves. If we could just please be a bit considerate of that, please.
Alright folks, if we can have a bit of hush please, the final guest is coming up. We need a bit of quiet folks for the last guest, so please keep the volume down so we can hear the guest speak. Thank you.
There's no shit with Stephen.
Once again, lads, he's small but dangerous.
He's small but fierce.
Our final guest of the evening is the fighting pride of Wexford, ladies and gentlemen, with an impressive boxing record of 13 wins, 8 of which were knockouts, 1 draw and only a single loss. He is amongst the most elite Irish heavyweight boxers today. He is a Massachusetts state champion, a New England state champion, and has trained in the camp of the current world heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua. I could go on and on, but instead let the following clip, David, do all of the talking.
Nice right hand by Niall Kennedy, and Jesse Barboza gets knocked through the ropes. It looked like the first right hand had him, so the ropes were just holding him up.
Niall, thanks so much for coming here tonight. I say you're used to going on last, the main event, as it were, in the boxing world. So many questions that I want to ask, but Pat and Aidan here have done intense research, so just be prepared for that. But could you tell me straight off the bat, I suppose the thing I'm particularly interested in, how is it that you've managed to juggle so many balls at the same time here? You're a heavyweight boxer, you're obviously a member of An Garda Síochána, you're a national broadcaster with News Talk. Well, to an extent. You also have a family or whatever. How do you manage to keep it all going? I'm genuinely intrigued.
I suppose, yeah, just like you're saying, there's a lot of juggling. The likes of Dots and all cover me, and work is helping a little bit, but no, it's just juggling. It's trying to manage time. It's hard, all right, but it's working so far, so we'll stick with it.
Brilliant stuff.
Just have a few facts here, right?
Stay away from facts.
I have a few facts.
Oh, right? we love stats on this podcast.
Right? We pride ourselves on stats. Okay. You're 35 years of age.
Harsh, but
you're right.
The facts are real.
You're You're the 175th heavyweight in the world. That's the top Irish heavyweight. Top 20 pound for pound Irish boxer. Okay. That's fairly serious.
Yeah, look, come here, I'm coming off the back of a loss, so there's no point in fooling myself. I need to win my next fight or I'm going nowhere, you know, I'm going backwards. So I'm 175 now, but them boxer rankings are fucking crazy, to be honest with you. They go up and down, so you wouldn't know. But the highest I've been, I think I was 38 at one point. So the aim, I'm not going to fool myself, and Sparks and Johnny and the boys know me here, and yourselves, like, but I don't believe I have the ability to be a world champion, but I do believe that I can get into the top 20 in the world and start. I think I can test myself against the best of them, and unfortunately the last fight, Conor McDonald, if he's listening, broke me up in strength and conditioning the week before it, and I ended up putting me back out. I didn't realise how bad it was, but I ended up, I had 4 bulging discs and a herniated disc. Stupid like that. Something simple, like a lot of people and a lot of the boys here would know that I lost a couple of friends there recently, and I do a stupid job before every fight where I bend over and I come up with my hands in the cross. It's just for people gone, the likes of Colin Bulger and Django, and that last fight it hasn't been a great year with friends. I lost Johnny Cash, you might know as well, would have hurled for Gory, and Django and young Sarah as well. So it was a tough enough year, but the plan was to make him proud. I bent over to come up with the cross before the fight, and fucking back went into spasm. and that's just before the fight started. So then the fight sort of went the way it went then. But so the main thing is, a long-winded answer, but the main thing is I have to get back winning. I have to win my next fight out. We were hoping to be out this month, but the back hasn't came right as quick as I'd have hoped. So we're looking at March. Hopefully a decent opponent. I don't really want to step down in level. I'd like to stay around the level that I was at. So if I could get that man again, it'd be brilliant. But I doubt it. I'd say he'll price himself out of it. So, but the main thing, get back winning, and try and get into that top 20 in the world then. So.
We'll go back to the start of your professional career. I mean, it started in 2015. You became pro 2 weeks before your 31st birthday, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, you trained hard, but was it at 31? Was the aspiration still there to be pro? Did you always still believe that, you know, I can definitely become a pro boxer and push on?
Yeah, look, I played soccer for Warrior Rangers. I played hurling and football with Nevena, and I never concentrated on boxing until about 2012. The aim in 2012 was to sort of try and make the Olympics, and I got bet on a split decision in a box off with Dean Gardner. So I just said, feck it. I've been up with Pascal a good bit, in Pascal Collins, my trainer and manager. So I've been up there sparring a good bit. I said, myself and the Queen, we were in Prague actually, and I just said I'd send Pascal a message. If he's interested in taking me on, we'll see where it goes. So I was lucky. There's been no Irish heavyweights really since Kevin McBride. No. And there's a market for it in America, like, you know, so I was just lucky that right place, right time more than anything.
And a hell of a talent as well, let's not
Absolutely.
dismiss that, you know.
I'm going to cut to the chase here now, Niall, right? Okay? Like, we're all big men here, right? Bar John, of course, okay? But none of us are a fan of a salad, okay? When you're in training camp, is there a strict diet for the heavyweights, or is it different to other weight classes?
No, well, you don't have to be as strict as you would if you were trying to make weight. Like, you don't have to make weight, but you try and eat fairly correct. You try and eat foods that are going to give you energy as well, you know. So you're eating a lot of pasta. You'd be black stick chicken and turkey burgers that turn your stomach, but you're trying to eat fairly correct, like, you know, that way. So. Despite how I look, like, it doesn't look like that. But.
So, Niall, I mean, we saw the clip there of your first professional championship win, you know, against Barbosa in Massachusetts. It's hugely great accomplishment for yourself. When you literally put him through the ring to make sure you got the victory, how long did it take for you to realise that, you know, I've actually, you know, I have a title now as a pro, and what did you feel after it?
It was a massive step, and it was a dream, and I turned pro to win a title, because any amateur boxing or follow amateur boxing, I've been bet into 3 senior finals, and I just sort of, it was an ambition to win a belt, and that first belt, beating that lad, the reason I hit him on the ropes is that lad threw the head on me at the weigh-in, so I wasn't that
I was actually going to say that. He was like sitting on the ropes looking up at you as if to say, please don't hit me again.
yeah, he wasn't the nicest human being, so I probably wasn't to him either, like, but so winning that belt, it gave me belief, I suppose, you know, that I could go and achieve something. And the next one, then, well, that's answering that question as well.
As you said, your last fight now, you unfortunately lost to Devin Vargas in the Boston MGM in August this year. After the fight, you were quoted saying you were beaten by the better man. You were obviously disappointed after it, but that showed great humility. What in your opinion went wrong in that fight?
Genuinely, I showed humility. I didn't think I was beaten by a better man, to be honest with you. The back went before the fight, and you just can't make excuses, you know. You have to take your loss like a man, and that's what I was trying to do. Genuinely, there was the back going, there was no reason that man should be beating me, you know what I mean? He's not even the best opponent I've boxed, like, you know, so, but it's one of those things, you take it and you have to keep your head up and be. There's no point in, like, I'd have sounded like some babby if I'd have turned around and said, oh jeez, my back went, so I had to take it more than anything.
And how is the recovery going actually, Niall?
It's going slow. It's not going as well as we'd hoped, to be honest with you. We were hoping to be back out in December, but it went again, and I've had 3 minor surgeries on it there since August, so I'm hoping, I had the last one last Thursday. I'm hoping it started now and we can get back out for March, so we'll know soon, hopefully.
And we mentioned at the outset of this interview about the fact that you had trained in the camp of the current world heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua, and we've the most interesting photo. David, if you wouldn't mind rolling up photo 1 there for the viewers at home on the internet. We have this most
at the time, and are in Sheffield, and their centre of excellence in England is in Sheffield, so Conor would be a very good friend, we'd be very close. I've known him since he was a baby, so his father would have been a good friend of mine as well. And to be honest with you, I wore the Wexford top sparring that day, and I just said to him, would he get in a picture? It was more because Conor was there than anything, you know. So, and in fairness to him, genuinely one of the nicest. Do you know the way he always says, be humble and all this crack? And you sort of think this is a little bit staged, it's a little bit fake, but he's not. He's actually one of the nicest people of all time.
How did that come about, you sparring Joshua, or was it just a phone call you got one day, or what?
Yeah, I tell you, it's a weird story. I won the New England title, I bet Alexis Santos, and Alexis Santos was, I don't know, IBA world champion or one of them fucking Mickey Mouse belts, but he'd some belt anyhow, but he was in line. They were sort of lining him up to fight Joshua for his American debut, and so when I bet Santos, Rob McCracken got in contact and asked me would I go over, and we just did. Like, it was a great opportunity.
You said, I actually did hear one of your interviews there recently on Off the Ball, where you said, like, you know, your first time over there, you flew over, you went to the gym early, and you were surprised to see that you were 2 or 3 hours early, and AJ was already there strapping up. I mean, like, that just shows that, like, I know the first Ruiz fight, maybe a lot of people say the headset wasn't there, and it appears that he didn't look to fight great, but I mean, you sparred, man, you've trained with him. Was the first fight probably a complete fluke, really, and the second fight we've seen the clever boxing that AJ can really do, and just he played the game well.
Yeah, as any boxer knows, a good small man is horrendous for a big man to box. You know what I mean? And Ruiz is a good small man. You know, he'd only 5 losses as an amateur. Very decent opponent. He was, in my opinion, he was robbed against Joe Parker. So a decent opponent, a horrible opponent for Anthony. But to be honest, boxers at the elite level, you get your gum shields moulded, and he was flicking around in your mouth, and you just shouldn't do that, like, because something happened. I'd say there'd be a book or something down the line, but there was something before that. Definitely, like, I'm not Andy Ruiz, and he was more keyed in for spar me than he was for fighting Andy Ruiz. You know, I don't know if he took him lightly. I don't know. I'd say he probably did. It was a late opponent, but there was definitely something. There's talk of panic attacks maybe in the dressing room. There's talk of something having went wrong, but it definitely wasn't the proper Anthony Joshua getting into the ring.
Do you think it was, you know, it was his first fight in America, and we all know America, especially with Sky Box Office, ESPN, like, you know, it's a big stage. Do you think that might have got to him in some way, that, you know, he knew now that it wasn't just London he was fighting in. He was fighting in his backyard. The world is now watching Anthony Joshua. I mean, we all know Tyson Fury, he's the showman that he is, and he loves the media attention, but I don't see AJ as being that man. Did that, you think, might have got to him a little bit?
No, like, when I like I said, he genuinely, this man is one of the most meticulous sportsmen you'll ever meet. I arrived, I flew over, I landed, I was there at 11 o'clock. I said, right, instead of panicking when I get there, I'll go up and have a look around the ring. Went up and there he is stretching and taping up his hands. It will come out down the line. If you look at the video, if you look at the first fight, his father goes to pull the head off Eddie Hearn. Similarly, before the fight, they asked to stop the fight. So whatever had happened was wrong. There's something going to come out about it. I don't know what it was. In fairness to him, he made no excuses. He was very humble in defeat. He showed the level of the man that he is. But last week, I think he gave a boxing exhibition, and a lot of people say that he can't box. You know, a lot of people say that his size and just his bulk and power is his only attribute. But what you have to remember is that man's an Olympic champion. Now, regardless of the Olympics, he probably lost the quarter-final to the Cuban, but he's still an Olympic champion. He's an elite amateur boxer, so he's well able to box. Do you know what I mean?
Just very interested to hear, a lot of people they either love Eddie Hearn or they hate him, right? What is your opinion on Eddie Hearn?
Listen,
remember here, we don't care about. There's no holding back. Lay it all out.
No. And we're not being live streamed on the internet at the moment either. Honestly,
no. If I look, come here, I'd probably give you a more honest answer if I'd retired from boxing.
Eddie, he's not looking for a fight. We swear.
No, he's a businessman. You have to remember that, and that's why he is at the end of the day. Born with a silver spoon in his mouth as well. You have to remember that. So, I know he's alright. He's very fair. His staff are brilliant. You might remember Kevin Rooney. Do you remember training Mike Tyson?
Yeah.
His son is actually helping run the American Matchroom USA. So, he's a stonewall, gent, lovely fella, really nice chap. He was a pro boxer, but just went the other way then. And Sean Palmer is the other one. So you don't really have a lot of dealing with Eddie as a rule, but yeah, he's a showman now.
Showman at the end of the day. So we are.
I actually found a quote, okay, and an article.
I talk a lot of scutter now, so no need to come back over quotes.
Do you want to join the podcast by any chance then, no?
Well, we actually have, we read a lot of articles in our spare time, okay? But we found this one where you claim, I quote, "I'm not even the best boxer in my own housing state."
This is
Would you like to elaborate on this, and are there any future stars coming from this said housing state?
For anyone here that knows Gorey, I'm from Willow Park, right? It's probably one of the roughest estates in the town, but the best estate. And unfortunately, my reason for knowing this pub so well is because of that family, I think. But Johnny Murray would be one of my best friends, and to be honest with you, his 3 sons would be far better boxers than I ever was. Niall, Dylan, and John. John was probably one of the most elite level boxers Gorey Boxing Club ever had. But and Johnny, a proud Ferns man. I believe he might have been in here once or twice. So, yeah, look, I wasn't putting myself down. Stephen Martin is over there. He'd like to box as well. We wouldn't box eggs, but come here. It's our James. Sorry, Stephen's his little brother. Yeah. But yeah, no, look, the 3 boys, if you were to look at their credentials, they won far more than I ever did as an amateur. Great lads. Niall is running Gorey Boxing Club now. He's doing a good job. The very same as. It's great to see Johnny Dwyer and Derek Thorpe and the likes taking over in Ferns here and helping out as well, so he's putting back in the boys. The boys are top lads now.
So, leaving the allegiance with AJ aside, we know you're best friends with him and all like that, and you just text each other and Snapchat the whole time. But at current standings, the top 4 are AJ, Wilder, Usyk and Fury. on pure boxing ability, do you think that is right, or do you think that there's someone there that's not someone that's not there that should be there, or is there one in the top 4 should be raised higher?
I don't believe Usyk deserves to be there. He's a class act machine, but he hasn't proved himself as a heavyweight yet. The other one, Fury is a class act. He's a nightmare for anyone to box. Wilder is a freak. Like I spoke on off the ball that like he didn't win 1 second of that fight against Ortiz, but his comment after is fairly on the ball. Like he said, his opponents have to be perfect, have to box the perfect fight for 12 rounds, for 3 minutes every round. He only needs to be perfect for 1 second. So Wilder is number 1. You have to put AJ back number 2 because he's the rest of the belts. Fury is 3, and I wax lyrical about this man, but I think Derek Chisora is a freak of nature. Like, you know, I think he's a class act.
But he's so unpredictable, Chisora. Like, he just can turn on like that, and you know, he just comes out of nowhere, really, doesn't he?
I have a very good story about Derek Chisora, and you're on about unpredictable, and I couldn't say this on off the ball because.
Oh, you can say it here, though.
Say it here. I went over to England to spar Chisora, and his trainer at the time was Don Charles, good friend, Don Charles, sound man. Went over, arrived at the gym. Chisora was on an exercise bike warming up. Don says to me, he said, Niall, get in and spar these cruiserweights and warm up, and Derek will get in then. So I got in, sparring 2 cruiserweights. I can't remember their names now. They were pros, but they weren't wonderful, like. And next thing anyhow, Steve Collins was doing my corner, which is probably it's a moment for me anyhow. But I went back and I says to Steve, what are they trying to do here? Like, I'm after doing 4 rounds. Am I going to? Are they trying to wear me out for Chisora, or what's happening? And he says, Niall, I don't think you have to worry about Chisora. He says, after getting off the bike and walking out of the gym. So that man's an absolute lunatic. Do you know what I mean? He's stone mad, and as much money as he's making out of boxing, believe it or not, he is a real, like, Del Boy is his nickname. He is a real life Del Boy. He's into antiques. He's mad. Man's cracked.
So, I've read that you're a former under-21 Wexford footballer. There's been a few lads, we won't name names, that have been dropped, kicked out. Hard to call off the panel this week.
Harsh. Did you see that? No, that was harsh. I seen where he was going with that.
Pat Doyle. This is Pat Doyle, by the way.
I'm not known for controversial comments, I swear. No. But if it turned out you couldn't get another fight, are you making the phone call to Paul Gavin in the morning, sticking in full forward, I'll do a job?
No, I'd say, look, Jap and the boy, a lot of people here would know that I'm not a team sportsman. I think if I could get a boxing ring in green, I've a great chance of winning the fight, I think. Yeah,
there's a B team around there somewhere looking for us, so there is.
No, the boys is not pawn like as well. I'm a fucking lunatic on a hurling football field, so I think it's safer for everyone if I just stay away from it, to be honest.
Just a very current boxing question, I suppose. Michael Conlon is taking on Vladimir Nikitin tonight. He's obviously looking for revenge following his Olympic loss, in which he termed the AIBA to be effing cheats. You might remember that. How do you think that one is going to go? Do you think Conlon will make it 13 wins?
Yeah, he'll definitely win. I don't know what he'll do. He might school him, I'd say. I don't know if he'll go on. He might take him out late, but I think people are overlooking Nikitin. Like, you know, he's a pro style fighter. Michael isn't. He's an amateur style fighter. He likes to box and move. So I think Michael will take him if he takes him late. But Nikitin, it'll be a lot more interesting than people think. And you have to remember, he's very emotionally drawn in this fight, which when you have emotion in a fight, it can be awful. Like, you know, so.
Well, in fairness, you can't really blame him though. That was such a farce. Your man was that bet, like he actually couldn't even fight the next fight. Like, do you know, he was battered and bruised after it. You know.
Yeah, but look, come here. We give out a lot about the Olympics, but that's the pinnacle of any amateur boxer's dream, right? So he was robbed. He was badly robbed. But what you have to remember is, we started the Olympics in really bad form. Our president of the Olympic Council was arrested for ticket fraud before the Olympics started. Michael O'Reilly was sent home for a failed. You know, so Irish boxing wasn't looked at in a good light in the Olympics. So if a judge was to be waived, now come here. What happened was a disgrace. Everyone saw it. Like it wasn't even a close fight. But Ireland, it was a way of punishing Irish boxing, I think, and a way of punishing Ireland, because our only medal hopes at any Olympics, not being smart or funny, unless it's a drugged up horse or a boxer, we're not winning a whole lot. Like, so,
well, we won't go there. But I mean, Coughlin's 12-0 as a pro, Nicotines 3-0. Do you look at? I know they fought before. You said the problem is with it that there is a lot of emotion there, and you need to keep emotion out of it. But do you think tonight, when it does, the bell does ring, will collection take over Coughlin, and that he will just do the business? And do you see a victory for Coughlin?
Oh yeah, he'll definitely win. Genuinely, I think he might stop him late on, but he'll definitely win. He'll school him. He'll make a show of him. Listen, Adam Boot is doing his corner. I'm actually going over there Monday to spar Joe Joyce. But like, Adam Boot has been around the block. He's been there with David Hay. He's been there with George Groves. He's going to have him in a good place. So, but you're right. Like, emotion will play a part.
So
Niall, be comfortable though.
We have one last question for you.
I want your honest answer.
Honest answer, right? So, anyone in the world, who would be your dream fight?
Bar David Murphy.
Bar Dots. Yeah.
Just on that, there, Dots and Kimberly had a baby. There are Dots and
yes, I think that deserves
congratulations.
Absolutely. Dave Murphy, a member of our podcast crew.
He'll absolutely hate you for that. But anyway, go on.
Come on, Dots, fight him. He's not a boxer, I swear.
Do we congratulate him on the baby, or do we congratulate him on holding on to the hair, because it is a losing battle now? I'm not looking at his father for any reason or anything now.
Any comment, Paul? No?
It was lucky it was a girl.
Yeah, let's move past that there, lads, can we?
Oh, sorry, I forgot John was here.
I actually forgot your question now as
well. Anyone in the world, who will be your dream fight?
They're building him up massively. Matchroom are absolutely plugging Filip Hrgovic strong. He's promoted by Sauerland, which is Calais and Nice. I'd say you've all seen the little old quiffs of Calais on the. He enjoys himself by the look of it at most fights. But yeah, Filip Hrgovic, for me, he's a beast. They're calling him an animal. They think he's unbelievable, but I just think everything about him suits me. Like I said, I can't call anyone out, because I'm literally coming off a loss. I need to get back winning. But if that fight, we were offered it, believe it or not, before, and it didn't make sense, because when you fight one of them lads, when you fight a matchroom fighter, you're not being brought over to win the fight, you're being brought over to lose. So you have to make sure it's worth your while, one, and you have to believe that you can beat him. But I actually believe Hrgovic suits me perfectly. So that's, at the moment, I think it's the dream fight.
But I would like the people. I promise this is the last one, right? But I'm interested, right? But like out of AJ, Wilder, Fury, who would you like to fight out of them?
Gentleman, and I could probably call him a friend. I get on fairly well with him. But Anthony, he's like, Wilder's a freak. Do you know what I mean? How do you prepare for that? You can't prepare for Fury, because I don't think he knows what he's going to do. So, do you know, out of him, in my opinion, probably Joshua is the easiest to prepare for, because he's methodical. He does everything right. He stands up fairly tall, straight punching. You can prepare for that. How do you prepare for Wilder? He's he's like Bambi on ice if you look at him. And Fury is insane. Like, I firmly believe that he doesn't know what way he's going to fight until he's in the ring. And So you can't prepare for that. His switch hits. He has a massive power, but he's a freak in nature, to be honest. So Joshua, yeah, definitely.
Well, Niall, look, we'd like to thank you as a group for coming here tonight for this great cause.
We know you're hungover.
Even though you're hungover.
Christmas parties.
A great sportsman and a great gentleman. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Niall Basil Kennedy.
Thanks a million.
Lord Bagnall voucher. Niall, last guest of the night. The biggest prize you're going to get. Can you pick the winning name out of this hat? And can you announce the winner, please?
Esther Mealy.
Esther Mealy. Oh God, that wasn't a fix at all, was it? I just let everyone know it's not uncommon for the organisers of the raffle to actually win the raffle. Well, congratulations, Esther Mealy. A €50 voucher for the Lord Bagnall in there. Thanks very much, Niall. Fair play.
Thank you, Niall. We'll proceed with the rest of the raffle then.
Before we start off with the whole raffle, I'd like to make a question to the audience. We have two brilliant prizes here, ladies and gentlemen, of signed Ireland jersey and a Wexford jersey. We'd like to open up a little bit of an auction. If anyone would like to make a charitable donation for either one of the jerseys, we'd gladly take it. Remember, it is for a great cause. So we have any bids on either one of the jerseys?
First of all, say the name of which jersey. You're going to do rugby jersey, the Irish one first.
The Irish jersey is signed by the departing captain, Rory Best, and departing manager, Joe Schmidt. So it's... can I have anyone for 50? We have 70 here with James Mormont there. Can I get 75? 75 P. Nolan. Do I hear 75 of P. Nolan? I don't hear 75 of P. Nolan there. No. 75 of anyone? Hodge Walsh with 75. Do I hear 80? 80 there off Pat Crane. Can we go 85? Anyone on 85? 85 going once. 80. 80 going once. Twice. 3 times. Sold to Pat Crane there, so it is. A signed Ireland jersey there for €80. Fair play, Pat. It's not framed. You have to buy your own frame. But we do know some people in Enniscorthy that buy frame for you for a reasonable price. Thank you very much. And I'd like to thank Marcus Casey, who does the rugby podcast, be there, who absolutely brought the great prize that we had there. Thanks very much, Marcus. So our next prize then, ladies and gentlemen, is a signed Wexford jersey, so it is. Connor, go to the crowd, find the lucky participants.
Who signed the jersey, Pat? Who signed it? Who signed the jersey?
The Ireland jersey?
No, the Wexford jersey.
I don't know. The whole panel did.
The whole panel, wow.
We have a yellowy ticket. Have you got a yellow ticket? We're going 216 to 220. 216 to 220. Remember, if you're not here at the time, you can't click. Oh, is this a fix? Teresa Murphy is the winner. She's not here, but Teresa Murphy is the winner of the Cyan Wexford jersey.
Well done, Teresa. Okie doke.
Thank God it wasn't a mine hand to win that. That would have been some fix.
It's not unusual for the organisers of the raffle to win it. What's that?
So the next prize, ladies and gentlemen, is a courtyard voucher. It's another yellowy ticket. We're looking for 61 to 65. 61 to 65 of a yellow ticket. Oh, Doyler. John Doyle. Take it out there, Carney. Give it to John. Come down to collect your prize, please. A lovely voucher for the courtyard. Prize 3 is a lovely voucher from Martin Redmond, Sport Injury Clinic, so it is. Thank you, Martin. It's a, I'm going to call that grey, John. It's a grey colour ticket, 311 to 315. Can we have 311 to 315? And we have someone from Waterford winning a ticket for an injury clinic in Ferns. Oh, Martin, you're branching out to Waterford. Well done. The Rebel voucher there. It's written on it. Congratulations, Sheelan. Prize 4. What was prize 4 again, John? Prize 4 is proud sponsored by Bulger's Hardware. It's a little workbench. It's a blue colour ticket this time. 451 to 455, won by James Nolan. James Nolan has bought a workbench. I think everyone sees the comical value in that.
That'll go to good use.
Oh no!
I don't know what kind of work he's going to do on that, but it won't be tools, I'd say.
Give him the bench there. Give him the bench. Lord Jesus. So, next we have a voucher for Saints. Proudly picked out by Aidan Gettinser. Thank you, Aidan. It's a yellowy colour ticket. Did you pick your own, Aidan? It's 166 to 170. Ah, Scallon, you need a haircut the bad way, so you do. The black one there, the black one. The black one. Yeah, well done, Scallon. That's a nice little something for you. Next voucher is for Lloyd's Hairdressing in Wexford. It's a yellow ticket, number 276 to 280. 276 to 280. Going once. Oh, we have a winner, we have a winner. Call on up and collect your prize. Well, Gary, fair play to you. You came all the way, so you did. Our next voucher is proudly sponsored by Fuse Technologies, courtesy of Conor Nolan here. It's another grey colour ticket. It's 206 to 210. 206 to 210? Can we get a caller of 206 to 210? Ronan, Mini Ronan. Mini, you've won yourself a brand new little phone of a Nokia 150. That's blue, not grey. Ladies and gentlemen, we apologise for the sound quality.